Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Welcome back to this another Spurs chat video where I've got another three very special guests. Elena from Lily White TV and, of course, presenter of the Football Terrace. We've got Lee, the Dorset Spur, and we've got Spurs fan Paul. Now, we'll be discussing everything Tottenham Hotspur and, of course, previewing the Manchester United game, which, of course, is at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this Sunday. Lee, let's start with you. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Now, the Newcastle game last weekend, you know, Tottenham's season so far. How are you feeling as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now?
Probably the same as everybody else, fed up and disillusioned and in despair with how it's going. What else can we say? It's been a really rough time, hasn't it? And I sat watching the game on Sunday and I said to my boy, they're going to score soon. We ain't going to win this. It's just not going to happen. You can just see it coming, wave after wave, and you just thought, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So might as well get used to it now. And that's what I did. I just went, and that was it.
How have you been enjoying the season so far, though, Lee? I know it's been very up and down, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there has been some bright bits. There's been some good games and a few bits going on that you kind of like. But overall, I think the Newcastle game pretty much sums up the season. It's pretty much, opportunities are there for us to take them, and we don't. And you just see that pattern time after time after time. And that's, for me, that's just how the season's gone. It starts off with so much opportunity and so much you've got so much views it's going to be okay and really good, and then it just kind of dies off, and you get used to it over the years. I mean, I've been going for 44 years, so you kind of get used to that sort of situation.
The last time that you were on this channel, you were very doom and gloom about Jose Mourinho. Have you changed your opinions on him?
What? Because we drew to Newcastle, or we got knocked out by Zagreb? But what would change my opinion? To me, yeah, you pretty much summed it up. The Newcastle game was inevitable. We were going to concede. We conceded 22 shots to a Bruce Newcastle that literally hardly attacks in any game. Like, it's like the most shots they've taken in years, I'm pretty sure. The stat was crazy that I saw. Anyway, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was actually embarrassing. I just think we can't deny that. Okay, yeah, we have issues in our squad. I don't deny that, but the issues are not as deep as they look right now. Like, we got very deep issues, but right now we can't even come against the Newcastle side, a very terrible Newcastle side. I mean, their relegation battle under a manager that all their fans want out. I just think that, yeah, we've got United coming up, but, there's nothing for me to be confident about. I don't sit here and think, yeah, we're going to go for it, because what have you shown that we are? We could do in one game, and then the next game, it's no consistency. And it seems like we've been, 19 months with a manager that just has no pattern of play. It's like, go out there and see what happens, and he's still learning the team. It feels like he's still learning the team, because it doesn't make sense as to how he hasn't got any consistent pattern, at all since he's joined. It's like we still are finding out our best team. We're throwing in youngsters just because we have no choice now. It's almost like this is what you do at the beginning when you first come. You know, everything looks a bit mishmash and you see what's going on. It's like, now he's been this long and we're still not, we still haven't seen any improvement. In my opinion, improving Kane is not going to be the most difficult job in the world because he's world class. Improving someone like a Winks, or someone that actually isn't that great, or Dyer not on a purple patch, that's a big thing. Improving Kane, to me, isn't the hard. Any manager can do that, to be honest. You give Kane to most managers, he'll get better, because it's just Kane. It's not that difficult. Yeah, he's put him deeper. It's not the most difficult thing in the world. So yeah, I just think we're giving too much credit for easy things. So for me, it's just like, yeah, we could win. We could win against United, but then I still have no confidence going into Everton. There's no consistency in this team. It's like, we'll win one game 4-0, and then we will look like we can't even attack a ball again. It's just all vibes. It's literally like no tactics, just vibes. That's the way I describe Jose right now. But yeah, again, the players need to be shipped off as well. Like when you go, so do loads of players do. So I'm not trying to deny that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Paul. Let's come to you. Elena rightly says there that the season has been so up and down. We win a game, we lose a game, we draw a game, we win a game. It's very up and down. You know, the opportunities that we've had about reaching this top 4 spot as well. And we will come on to that later on in the video. But let's talk a little bit about the Newcastle game. How do you feel after that?
Devastated. Like you said, it was inevitable that was going to concede a goal. I was sitting there thinking it's only a matter of time. That's without Newcastle not having like Callum Wilson in the attack. Those players that we're playing against, really, with our quality, if we want to be a top 4, top tip team, would close them out and win the game. I think we're not keeping the same players in the team enough to get any consistency from any defenders. I've said it before in your previous, shows, Chris, that, our main best defender, we all know, is Toby. And he leaves him out. If he's going to play Sanchez or Rodon, play him alongside Toby. Someone's got the experience, the vocal voices at the back to, determine and tell and shout at him. I just think, personally, he's got to stick with one team now that we're out of the Europa League. One team consistently every game, and then see how we go from now to the end of the season. But my worry is, come the end of the summer, who's going to buy our best players? Kane and Son definitely, won't price targets, but the Leicester squad members, are teams really going to go in and start spending the money, to try and compensate for the pandemic? I don't know. I'm not sure. So, but we will see. But I'm hoping that's not the case and we keep our main players and build. But this is Spurs, money talks kind of thing. So,
Paul, you mentioned there about Toby Alderweireld not playing at Newcastle. Now, of course, Jose Mourinho said that he didn't have his COVID test. Same with Serge Aurier. But the club had already put pictures out showing Toby Alderweireld in training. What do you make of that?
Exactly. I was confused completely because, like you said, had he not been tested, why is he even bubbling with the players in the first place? So to see Toby not even in the team or even on the bench, I was just like, wow, what's going on there? He's our main best defender we got at the club. He should be in the first name on the list in my eyes every game we play. So,
yeah.
And then you build. You can then put Rodon or Sanchez next to him. Someone's got that experience. We wouldn't do Toby and Jan.
Let's just say he wants to do that. Like, Kay, you want to do that. You want to not play Toby. Don't lie. Don't just go and blatantly lie. Like, okay, that's your decision, but like, why are you lying? Like, it's just weird behavior. Like, forgetting the fact that he, to me, is our best defender. Why are you lying? Like, I just don't understand. Like, it's just, it's like he's just, he's trying to me. It was like, are you trying to get sacked? Like, is that what you're trying to do here? Because why are you lying about senior players? I don't know. It's just weird behavior.
It is something not used to really at Tottenham either.
Lee, let's come to you. Do you think now, after 30 Premier League games, do you think Jose Mourinho knows his best back four yet?
No.
Nah, not a chance. Not a chance. I agree with what Paul's saying. You've got to start to pick a team that's going to give some consistency, especially in the defence, right? We all know it's been our weakness. So why will you tinker with that all the time, and keep messing about with it? I agree. Toby's our best defender, right? And if you're saying that the future is Rodon or the future is Sanchez or Dyer or whatever, then you've got to give those guys time to develop and to work together to get that understanding. The reason why Vertonghen and Alderweireld were so good was because they played together at Ajax, they played together at Belgium, they played together at Tottenham, so they knew each other. It was like they knew where they were going to be. It's exactly the same as when you're looking at your attack. When you're looking at your attack, you get great relationships between, say, Kane and Son. They're playing off each other. They understand because it's consistent. So it's no surprise to me that when Sonny's not doing particularly well, it's after a time of being out and not linking up with Kane so much, and vice versa. So for me, absolutely, he does not know what he wants to do with that defence. I think he wants to maybe move on from Toby because Toby's that bit older and maybe he doesn't feel that he's got the legs for it or whatever. But then you can't then say, well, Sanchez and Rodon are going to be great together because they're both young men learning the game. So that says to me, Dyer is your senior defender. And we know Dyer's not been having a great season, So it puts him in that difficult position. If he was to go, well, hold on, I'm going to have Rodon and I'm going to have Tanganga, right, who I love, and that's going to be my team for the future. You've got to give them time to learn their craft and to get that stability between them. So for me, I think he's just tinkering every week with the defence, and I don't think he knows what he wants to do with it. And I think the excuse about Toby not being back for the COVID test.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he realised he's made a bad mistake, and he's trying to bat it off that it was somebody else's fault. And that's what he's done.
Lee, aren't you surprised though? Jose took charge of Tottenham back in November 2019. Aren't you surprised with a Jose Mourinho side that he hasn't sorted the defence out sooner? Because obviously he has won so many trophies. We can talk about his trophies all night long, the trophies that he's won. And you don't win trophies by having a poor defence. So aren't you surprised in this time that he hasn't, shored up the defence and made Tottenham a very, very decent defensive unit?
Well, yeah, you would think that, you would expect that. You would expect that to be his first priority, and it looked like that was his priority. To get them to defend as a team, all this low block business and all the rest of it. And there has been games where we have defended really well, but I think half the problem as well is a lot of the time our defence gets overrun by our midfield, overrun in the midfield. They're under an awful lot of pressure because we're not pushing on and we're not attacking ourselves. So I think it's all about the whole team, not just about the defence. I think if he could get his defensive two right in the middle, then he would be in a position to go, right, now I can build from that. But because he's fanning about with it all the time, there's how can you build that relationship? And I am surprised that he hasn't got hold of it. I think he's been trying to, but he's like he said, same coach, different players. So God, shut up, dog. Jeez. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know whether the players that he's got are the ones that he was. I mean, bear in mind, a lot of those players are all Pochettino players. But he came in and he said he was happy with the squad, which he would have had to have said. He would have had to have said that.
I'm not going to say that he came in and said he was happy with the squad. Then it's, get out the violins for Jose. I was going to go mad, but you said that.
Okay, thanks. He said he was happy with the squad. I was never a Jose in person. I didn't want Jose as the manager, right? I back the manager when he's in the club because he's the manager, right? But ultimately, I expected him to go out and get ready-made players for now. But the club, we're always looking at the future players, but they never seem to come off for us. They never. I mean, Davinson Sanchez was supposed to be, really great, and yet it's just not happening for him, And so I kind of expected him to go out and buy the best in these positions that he wanted, ready-made players and all the rest of it, bang them in and shore up the defence and get us playing how he wanted us to. Just never happened. So I think Jose's probably struggling with the idea of the club as well, of how Levy wants to do it and stuff like that. Even though Levy's giving him a load of money, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we've spent an awful lot of money without any real benefit.
Elena, let's come to you now. The Life of Tyler TV right on screen now. Am I the only person who wants to see Eric Dyer play again? In your opinion, does Jose Mourinho know he's back four? Who are the best back four in your opinion?
For me, I do agree that I like Rodon. I do think he should play. But again, when you're playing youngsters, managers that are struggling should do this more. When you're playing youngsters, fans give you more time. They understand they're young. They need experience. You've got a little bit more leeway when you're playing youngsters. Also, they give everything for the badge, not only for the club, but for themselves as well. They want to, better their career and stuff. So when you're struggling, to me, it makes a lot of sense to play the Tangangas, to play Rodon. I'm not happy with the fact he's fallen out with Aurier, obviously, but Tanganga, for me, is giving everything. So I'm okay with him playing. for Eric Dyer, if anyone's saying like Dyer, it's one of those typical hasn't played in a while things. Like when Davies were out, we were like, oh my God, we need Davies back. It's like, it's just the typical, when you don't see a player long, you think that they're the ones to come in and save you. Like Dele, we thought when he was going to play, he's going to come save us. Like, it's just not the way I don't think it will happen. We're just going to get the same Eric Dyer. Might have a good game, then, you know, his arm will be out here and we'll give him out a handball. Just something like that. So yeah, with the Eric Dyer thing, but yeah, he just doesn't have that cohesive back four. And I get it, like it isn't a great back four, but you know, we do need to get, like you said, some relationships. You need to know, you know, you kind of need to have chemistry with, especially in a defense, especially if you're playing such a low block. You need to know, I'm going to be here whenever that ball is coming this way. You're going to be next to me. You're going to back me up. Whereas I feel like they don't know. Are you gonna be able to help me when I mess up? Am I gonna be in that position to help you? You know, you just need to grow a relationship, and I feel like we haven't. For me, Toby and Rodon should be playing. Again, I might be falling in that trap where it's like, oh, we haven't seen that back four, and it might change something. But I always think Rodon is going to benefit from someone so experienced, and we know Toby does have the quality. Okay, he's lost a few yards of pace. We need a new centre back, but for now, he's still our most like experienced centre back that has not so many mistakes. Few, but not so many. Like, you're not going to see him just dive on the floor the way Sanchez does, or not jump in the air the way Eric Dyer doesn't want to. So for me, it's like, yeah, for me, it's got to be them two. Reguilon, I think, needs to play. And obviously for me, I think Tanganga could be our choice of right back. I don't think he's really a right back. I still think he's like a centre back. So I don't really want Jose Mourinho to move him out of that position and make him just a solid right back, because I don't think he's really a right back. He's so defensive minded. Yeah, he gets forward, but I think you know, we're sort of changing his career. But for now, if it's going to work, it will work. But I think, yeah, we need to play them for now. But it's still, he doesn't, like we said, defensive coach hasn't improved our defense. If anything, it's got worse, and our bottle has got worse. So it's almost like, what are we gaining? I mean, everyone knows my opinion, so I don't need to say that, but it's true. Like, for me, like, what are we gaining? I don't see much we're gaining from you, apart from the fact that you big yourself up, you big your fans that want to move around clubs with you, but not the fans of the club. And, you know, you're bigging your own trophies up, and, you know, same coach, different players. If, like, even that dressing room, they're going to think, yeah, I'm going to want to, you know, fight for you lot. Like, you know, am I going to want to run through walls for you? No, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're literally dissing me. I think, yeah, you know, slate them in private, but not so much in public. And I don't know if anyone saw Ville's, he did an article where it was like the players are now subconsciously worried about being slated in the media, so you tend to make mistakes when you're worried about, you know, someone publicly addressing you, and, you know, you make more mistakes. I think it's the same thing when, for me, I kind of related to this when I'm driving. If someone's in my car, I drive worse because I'm like so scared, like, you know, someone like my boss or something's in my car, I start like panicking. And I think it's like that. They panic in the last 10 minutes because they're like, if we lose this, we're gonna, you know, get absolutely hung to dry. So I just think it's man management is poor. But yeah, for me, those back four need to play. See what happens.
If you're a fan and you're watching the football, right, and we're all sitting there getting worried, and like I said on Sunday, I'm sitting there going, yeah, we're going to concede. If you're a player, surely you're going to feel some of that as well as a person, right? Because you're human. So they must be thinking to themselves, we're only one goal up. You know, they're coming at us wave after wave. You know, they must start thinking to themselves, I can't afford to make a mistake, because it's going to be me that's going to get the rollicking from Jose and that.
Exactly.
I've got a friend who's a Man United fan, and when Jose was at United, he actually said the same thing to me that you've just said about players being worried that they're going to be the scapegoat and so on. You know, I never like to hear coaches criticising players publicly. I think that's something that you should do privately with that person, really. But in defence, the only thing I would say in defence of that is they're put under a lot of scrutiny about their decisions and why, and what about this player and what about that player. And in the passion after a game, it's so difficult to sit back and go, well, you know, yeah, I thought we did all right. Because then everyone goes, what are you talking about? We were rubbish.
You're all right, but you know, criticise as a team rather than criticise. you know, we didn't do this. Like, we could have made these changes instead of, I told you to do something. You're not listening to me. You're crap. I'm brilliant. That's where I think the difference is in the way
absolutely.
That situation,
No,
the
absolutely.
way other coaches do it. But I totally get what you're saying. Obviously, it is hard, but if he's, you know, for me, it's not style. You know, for me, you know, someone like, you know, other teams do this. You know, other teams play the way he's playing, and it works. Atletico Madrid, for example, they've played this way for a long time. Style doesn't outdate. As much as I don't enjoy it, I don't support Tottenham to watch counter-attacking football or counter-productive football where we're just sort of sitting back. We are known for attacking football, and that is the Tottenham I grew up with. But fair enough. If he's going to come in and do that, but it's not style that's outdated. It's the way you manage that's outdated for me. Back in the day, you can grab a player and say, you're crap, and then they'll start running through walls for you. Nowadays, you do that, they're going to be like, I don't want to play for you. Like, now players are now a bit more softer, you know, a bit more prima donnas. You know, they don't want to, they don't like being told that. So I think, but if anyone's calling him a dinosaur, it's not his style of play. I don't agree with the style of play, but that's not the problem. It's the way he manages. And I think we just need some morale. And we just lift the morale. If that was me in charge and I could get rid of him, I'd get rid of him, get Mason in, get some morale up, see if we can benefit off that for the final and do it. But obviously, I can understand keeping him for the final. It's a Pep Jose final. I get that. But I just think that generally, for me, it's man management that's outdated, not style.
Elena, I think I understand your thoughts about Jose Mourinho from speaking to you last and of course, so far on this video. But it is in Tottenham's hands. We could finish in the top 4 this season and we could win the League Cup. Now, can you imagine if Jose Mourinho delivers both of them? And arguably, it would probably be Tottenham's most successful season since around 1984 when we last won the UEFA Cup. You know, finishing in that top 4 spot to get Champions League football and finishing up as League Cup winners. If that happened, how would you feel?
That's all we want at the end of the day. Of course, that's all we want as a fan base. That's all we want. But I'm still not blind to the fact that this season's a bit of an anomaly in the fact that no one wants top 4. Every team that should be there is just throwing it away. I feel like if we finish top 4, by the way, it's actually a little bit of a disgrace to the league because we've been shocking and we all managed to finish top 4. So for me, it's like, I can't sit here and say, oh, you know, we're going to do that next season. For me, it's the inevitable. We're just prolonging the inevitable by keeping him. He'll probably end up showing that this isn't, you know, the way the league's going to be next season under a normal season, hopefully with fans back and everything. I feel like generally it's just going to show that we somehow did that. Anyone can win a final. I think it's one game, you know, and City don't normally do well against us no matter who the manager is. We tend to have a good game against City. We did it under Poch, we did it under Mourinho. But and the top 4 thing, if we finish top 4, it's more of a disgrace on the league because we've been absolutely shocking. So I just think that next season, to start that rebuild that we desperately need, we need to start building the foundations for a new team. And that is not Jose's job. He's not here to do a rebuild. He was here for a quick fix, get the trophy. For me, it would be job done. His job is now done. That he's not here for the long term to start sorting out the bottom foundations of this team. He's here to get us over the line. And then Levy will be like, maybe we need to actually put the money into the team. The whole point of it was the cheap way. Even though he's a very expensive manager, it was going the cheap route rather than rebuild the squad. Just get this crop of players a trophy. So we still need to rebuild. So we're just prolonging the rebuild again to be having this conversation next season. And I don't think he's the man to do that.
Paul, let's bring you in. Elena says there that, you know, Jose Mourinho wasn't brought in for a rebuild, but we all knew as Tottenham Hotspur fans that we need a rebuild. This rebuild is needed. You know, lots of players will probably head out the door this summer. Lots of players will perhaps not lots of players, but a few players might come in the summer. You know, what are your thoughts on it, and what are your thoughts on Jose Mourinho digging out the players yet again and saying the same coach, different players?
Well, first the rebuild, you know, it was who you're going to replace once Poch left. He was the ideal candidate, wasn't he? Let's be fair. You know, if you're going to sack Poch, who are you going to bring in that's, you know, a glorified trophy winner? All right, the football wasn't great, but it would make common sense from a manager's, you know, chairman's point of view that obviously Mourinho was the best person, but unfortunately, it's just his style of play. Like you say, singles out players when there shouldn't be. Should be done behind closed doors. And I always refer to Harry Redknapp when, you know, weren't great players, but he told them how wonderful they were, and you got the best out of them. So, and I'm round them and like saying if he even thinks they're no good, just come on, you're good, you can do this, you know, with Spurs. And I'll be honest, Chris, I don't mind losing to anyone, providing we're showing enough passion on there. We're giving it all, but I'm not seeing it from the players. And it's so frustrating. Us as fans, I would die for the shirt. I really would. I'd run through hoops. If I could cover every grade of grass over it, I would have, you know, come off that pitch absolutely devastated and that we lost. I look at the players and I say, come on, where's that passion? Where's that energy that we all have as fans for the club? You know, that is the most important thing. Where that pride, chase it, you know, the ball down, see out defences, make sure that we're winning, we're together. I feel so disconnected compared how we were with Pochi, you know. I felt the team, the club, the fan base, everything was one. Now I feel so disillusioned from it all that you know, I'm devastated really, because we've been so close so many times in the last 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. You just need that little bit extra spark, that little, you know, backing, you know, like you refer to with Pochi, the 500 days, he didn't get a single signing. We were so close. And like you say, mate, I want to see us winning trophies. I want to see us being up there in the top of the leagues and challenging for Europa Champions Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups. Because what's the point of supporting your club if you don't believe and want to see trophies each year? Because I would just retire now if I was them. You know, I want to see the passion. I want to see the fight. I'm getting heated now and probably going red in the face, but it's just something that I believe in. I'm Spurs through and through. I've been since I was 5. You know,
don't worry, I'm here.
This year.
I do the same. I get rid of the same.
I just love the club so much. I just want to see us collectively pulling in the same direction. You know, all of us in the same, singing from the same hymn sheet, basically. You know, I don't know what your intake is on it, Chris. What you feel, or yourself, Lee and Elena, but.
Well, I was going to ask Paul that, you know, obviously, you know, this trophy drought that Tottenham have, 13 years without a League Cup. You know, 1984 was the last time we won a European trophy. 91 was the last time we won an FA Cup. And 1961, 60 years ago, since Tottenham last won a league championship. Now, you know, how far are Tottenham away of winning a trophy now? You know, if you're talking big prizes, a Champions League, of course, we all know that Pochettino took us to the final. You know, didn't spend a penny in 518 days. We can talk about this, you know, all night long. But you know, haven't won a league championship for 60 years. Now, as a Tottenham fan, I completely agree with you, Paul. And you know, I'm very passionate as well. And obviously, I want to see Tottenham Hotspur win trophies. You know, I think that even 13 years is way overdue, just a domestic trophy. But you know, I want to see Tottenham challenging for the big prizes. So how far, realistically, are Tottenham away from challenging for the Premier League?
Miles, Chris. Now, you know, under Poch, I would say not too far away. Just needed that 1 or 2 extra players in. But wasn't backed. And look, we're left now with players that are disillusioned. The hearts, in my opinion, not in it. You know, I was glad that the international break was here. They give them chance to like regroup. You know, you see from the photos on there that everyone looks together, but as soon as they cross that white line, they got shadow. They go in themselves. And I've never been like that. Even watching Spurs, you always feel like, all right, they scored 2, we'll score 3 or 4. You know, it was like all guns ho. Let's just get the win. Doesn't matter, you know, about the tactics as such. With Spurs, we'll outscore you, kind of thing. You know, and I'm just gutted that we're seeing them being so scared at the end of the games. And you know, like I said before, in that Newcastle game, that was coming. You know, and that spreads through Hugo Lloris as well. You know, not having the same consistent back four will obviously not help. But as a captain, he should be demanding and shouting more. I know he does when I'm watching Sky Sports and that. But, you know, it just sets so much alarm bells ringing through the team when it does get to the end of the games. And they're giving silly goals away, like not man marking, not looking around you, spatial awareness, things like that. You know, these are just basic things that players should be able to do without being coached or even told to do it. They should just be in them. Like, right, you mark him, you pick him up. Let's see it out. They do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not questioning their, you know, athletic abilities and things like that. We all know they're good, but it's just I want to see more passion. I want to see more drive. I want to see more determination. I want to see them dying for the shirt as such, you know. And I know they've got that and they love the club, but us fans, we just want to see it a bit more, you know. That's why I like Stefan Freund, Pierre, people that got passion. You see it in it when they're playing and they're giving it all. And, you know, they get the fans involved. Like, come on, we can do this, you know, together as one. But ranted too much, sorry.
It's very hard for a player to get the group together if the manager ain't getting them together. That's what I find hard. That I think they're just not a group. We're not a group. There are some that are playing together, playing for him, and there are some that aren't. And I think it's just there's just an issue there. It's a broken dressing room. There's no denying it, I think.
The trouble is as well, you'll always get cliques, won't you? You'll always get cliques when you've got groups and stuff like that. You know, you've got the players that are in, you've got the players that are out, you've got the players that he's upset, you know, they've got the players that are in favour. So you're always going to get that. But I agree with you, Paul. I think, you know, fans will forgive so much if we can see some passion from the players. You know, nobody cares about this football club more than the fans. I don't care who you are, Daniel Levy or, you know, all that mob. They don't care about the club the way we do. Like you said, you'd give, you know, you'd cut an arm off to be able to pull on that shirt and run out on that pitch, you know, and play for this club. To be able to do that is something really, really special. And unfortunately, I know these guys always appreciate what they've got and how much it means to the fan of any club. I'm not just talking about Tottenham. You know, whatever club. You know, I've said this so many times, right? You are more likely to change your wife than you are to change your football club.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's like a religion. That's what I say all the time. It's your religion.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, once you've made this choice, once you've made the choice of this team, that's it.
Yeah. It's in your blood now. It's done.
That's it.
Anything can happen. You get relegated. You're there. It's done.
Yeah, of course. You know, my son. You know, I feel sorry for him because his club has been foisted upon him, so he's got to put up with the next 40, 50 years of stress. Yeah, the same for my grandchildren. They've all got Tottenham stuff because they are forced to. You know, you are Tottenham. End of. You know, we're putting them through this pain.
We don't have a Graham Roberts of today, for example. Like, you know, someone that lost teeth on the pitch, someone that, you know, fell out with the manager, would still put 100% in every game. Like, you know, I had him on my pod and we were talking about it. He's someone that literally didn't have a good relationship with the manager, but he did never disrespect that badge. And, you know, he lost teeth for the club. Like, there is none of that now. None of that in this club. And
absolutely.
It's
absolutely. You got, you know, if you're going out there, I mean, that's why if you look at West Ham, right? They all love Mark Noble, right? Now, Mark Noble is not the greatest footballer around, right? But he plays with passion and he plays for the club. And that's why they love him. And the same with Harry Kane. You know, I love Harry Kane.
Yeah, I do.
I love Harry Kane because he fights for the club. You see him in defence, you see him in midfield, you see him in attack. You know, and he can get criticised as much as you like, but he wants to win for the club. You know, and you can't, you know, and that's what you want from the rest of them. You know, I don't want Dele sitting there putting up stupid pictures on Instagram because he's fed up he ain't playing. Do something about it, mate. Get off your arse and do something about it. You know
what? I said this. You're a disgrace. You're playing for the badge. If you don't like that manager, I don't care. I don't care if you don't like the manager. Just, you know, play for that badge. You are not playing for that badge, which is why
you're playing for the
go as well. But what I always say is Jose's still a problem. The players are a problem, but Jose's a problem too. Why are we voluntarily adding to our problems? Eliminate the problems as you go. If you're a problem, eliminate you. If you know, that's what I'm saying. He's first one to go is the manager. Doesn't mean that I'm sitting here saying all the players are brilliant and let's keep them all. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you're still a problem, just as the players are a problem. The first one to be dealt with is the manager, and then over a couple windows, I think, you know, it's going to take some time to get the proper squad together, which is why I think we need a rebuild. But yeah, totally agree.
Elena, let's stick with you. Charlie writes on screen now, in my opinion, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son will stay for another season. What are your opinions on this? Because it does worry me as a Tottenham Hotspur fan, regardless of whether we win the League Cup, you know, in a couple of weeks' time, or even finish in the top four. Does Harry Kane stay? You know, because when I look at Harry Kane now, you know, particularly after that Newcastle game, you know, if I was Harry Kane, I think I would feel very, very annoyed by a lot of situations that have happened this season. You know, does Harry Kane stay around for another season? Can you see him leaving the club?
For me, it's more, can they see a long-term positive goal? For me, I think as fans, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen next season. We don't know if we're going to where we sort of are next season. Whereas when we were consistently top four, we were kind of knocking on the door of getting something, and it kind of looked like we're building something big here. And even if it is under Jose, there just needs to be. We don't know what the long-term plan is. And I feel like we just don't know what's going on. And I feel like he doesn't know what's going on. If he can't see a positive sort of couple seasons, he's not getting any younger. I think the next club he goes to is going to be like his proper next job, or he stays here for the rest of his career, to be fair, because he's not young anymore to just be like, oh, throw him anywhere. So I feel like for me it's like he's got to see something where we're building something good and something that is going to be worth it. Otherwise, if he doesn't see anything long term, why wouldn't he just go off to Bayern and win everything? Or even, God forbid, he goes to City or someone where he will win the Premier League. They've just lost Aguero. We know that. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like he needs to see something long term that's good. That's good enough for him to stay. And we don't know as fans. We don't know as fans what the long term plan is and what the positivity is going to be. And I think that's a big factor.
Paul, let's come to you. Heung-min Son and Harry Kane, do you see them staying for another year? And of course, there's been lots of media reports as well in the last couple of days about lots of players leaving. Banded about Davinson Sanchez leaving for around £31 million, Serge Aurier £18 million, Harry Winks £20 million, Dele Alli nearly £30 million, Eric Lamela, Wan Foyth. We keep hearing stories, keep reading stories time and time again, particularly in the last couple of weeks, about lots of players leaving this summer. How big is this rebuild, and will Harry Kane and Heung-min Son still be at the club next season for you?
Firstly, it's massive this summer, definitely. This has got to be make or break for us, I think, in a lot of ways. We all know that there's frailties within the defence. I think midfield's not too bad. Højbjerg definitely. Like I said before previously, Chris, I want to see and Ndombele further up the field. I think he's more effective behind these strikers. So in a number 10 kind of role as well, push Harry on further. Keep Harry up there. I don't like Harry dropping back. He does a great job. He's more effective in the box. Free kicks as well, Harry, please. Give it to somebody else, bless you. You tried, but I just want to see them sitting down at the summer, identifying the targets. Again, I said before we came on air, I think there's a lot of structure around our scouting network that needs to be addressed. I think Steve Hutchin is doing an okay job, but I'd rather see Luis Campos in, identifying real players. I want us to see and find the next Mbappe. I want us to get decent players in that are going to make a difference. Not they've had an okay season like Doherty for Wolves. Aurier, we know, can be accident prone with penalties, gives away it. Dyer can be it. I want to see solid foundations. Reguilon, will he stay if Real Madrid opt to buy the buyback clause? We'll actually have him. We've got Sessegnon that's out on loan. I want to see him give him more of a chance. We've identified these players for a reason. Start giving him chances. Skippy's doing amazing at Norwich. Get him in the team. I just want to see us start getting the players in now and start bedding the next future Spurs teams that we can all be proud of, Son and Kane, depending on whether we win the League Cup or get top four, I think we'll have to have a good hard look at the structure, like Elena said, to find out what's the vision, because you can see it in their eyes, and they want to.
That's a good word. They want to.
Yeah, they want to win things, and I totally get that. I've blanked the Champions League final out of my memory. Walking down Seven Sisters Road after the defeat, I was so devastated, and I was like, "It's gone." It's just a distant memory in the back of my brain. I want to see us winning things. I want to see the best players, challenging. And that's all I can say, really. Getting the right players out, getting the right players in, and then really kicking on. Like Pot said in previous interviews with Gary Lineker, it's all right having the best mansions, the best facilities. You need to make it count where it is, and that is on the pitch.
Paul, anyone in particular that you'd like to see in a Tottenham shirt next season?
Sabitzer would be a good start, and then just decent centre backs, because I think we can get I like Max Aarons from Norwich on the right back. Young, up and coming. You've seen like Trent and James at Reece James at Chelsea. Someone like that. That calibre. Wants to fight English. I'm just annoyed that we let the likes of Maddison slip through the fingers. The Yuri Telemans. We're linked with them. Look what they're doing for Leicester. Leicester haven't had a massive budget, but they've identified the correct players, the correct positions, and with Vardy's pace up front, what I look for. I want to see Spurs doing, identifying the targets, going and get them, and then building from 100%. That, and then add and add and add.
You know what needs to happen? Daniel Levy needs to, if he's going to be our chairman, that's fine, but he needs to move off everything football. Do everything business side and move off everything football. Get a proper DOF in, properly identify players. Because like you said, for me, our managers are not going, our owners are not going anywhere. So us screaming ENIC out, it's not going to happen until we have a buyer. And, you know, we might not be for sale, but we're always for sale. They're an investment company. If someone has the right price, will be bought. But that's not happening anytime soon. So the way to see some sort of success is to emulate Leicester. I've said this before, so it's quite funny that you said there's that same team. We need to, you know, identify talent and build it up. And we were doing that in the 2017 era. But then, you know, our DOF had an argument with Daniel Levy, as always. And then he said his dream job turned into a nightmare. And he went off to Leipzig. And so, you know, built a great team in Leipzig. So for me, it's like, it is exactly the same. We need to get Daniel Levy off everything football. Move him over to just business side. You want to do the contracts, you do the contracts. You want to do everything numbers, you do that. But you have no say in who we sign. Like none. Because it's not even like we sign, we don't spend money. We spend a lot of money on a lot of pretty average. I mean, we spent 30 million on Sissoko. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like we spend money, but we just spend a lot of it on crap. And you don't need to do that. You can buy decently at, you know, that sort of price as well. And I just think we just need to identify players better. So yeah, for me, Daniel Levy, if you're gonna stay, move off everything football and just stay on the business side, because you're a great businessman. I'm not trying to deny you've done everything outside. I always say off the pitch, we're like a Real Madrid, we're a giant. On the pitch, we're like Barnsley. We're like everything on the pitch is small, with everything off the pitch, we're brilliant. So for me, it's like we need to start to emulate that onto the pitch. Obviously not with the huge signings maybe, but just with some talent, and we can identify better. And I think a DOF is so important in this team. And like we said, Leicester see results. I mean, Leicester won the league, even though I get nightmares of that season, still they still managed to do it. And you know, they are always up there. So yeah, just don't be involved in anything football and just be involved in all the business, because I can't deny that you're good at that, even though that is what hinders us sometimes. Some clubs don't want to get involved with us because of how hard he is. They actually say, like, you know, I can't bother to even talk to Tottenham, but he's still good at it. But I just think identifying players needs to be addressed. And I think the only way that will be addressed is if we just get a DOF. So yeah, if he's going to stay, move off everything football, please.
Surely though, for Jose Mourinho, if he is to stay at the club for next season, surely the main area that he needs to improve is the defence. You know, does Jose Mourinho and Tottenham Hotspur, do they look in the Premier League, or do they go out in Europe? You know, what if you had your choice, any players that you'd like to bring in?
Skriniar for me is probably, you know, the number one choice. Yeah, I think generally we can scout a few youngsters for the defense, but we need defenders now. That's the problem. We have our youngsters, you know, we said the Tangangas, the Rodons, we have that, but I need someone who can play now. So Premier League's going to be too much money, especially in this window. We know Daniel Levy ain't going to spend unless he gets money in. And I just think, who are we going to sell? They're not going to accumulate that much. Our main asset is Dele Alli for me. Dele Alli's our most valuable asset. And other than that, they're all pretty hit or miss. What are we going to get for Sanchez? What are we going to get for the Sissokos? What are we going to get for Winks? Winks might be another one that you could get something, because, you know, the English midfielder thing. But realistically, it's not going to be too much. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Aaron's, like you've said, Bertman, I wouldn't mind. Anderson is a good shout. I did hear some things today about that as well. So yeah, there are shouts out there. You don't have to be Premier League. We've seen them perform in the Champions League against top clubs. So you know, we don't have to be Premier League, but I think we do need to get. All we need is just a defence. We need centre backs need to be our priority. But everyone forgets. Right, I just throw this out there. You're gonna hate me, but anyway, just want to throw it out there that he prioritized getting a DM. So he prioritized getting Højbjerg, and that's fine. You wanted Højbjerg, and he's brilliant. But you also said your senior centre backs that you wanted, and we gave new contracts to, was Toby and Dyer. Now everyone can argue it's because you don't want him to sell for. You don't want him to go for free and whatever. Dyer was never given a contract to sell. No one give me that, because we know he wanted him to be his main centre back. We've seen it in the doc. He said he's a good player, isn't he? Don't now cry that it hasn't worked. This is your defence, to be fair. You asked for this defence. Daniel Levy's thinking these players were done and out under Poch. You know, they were hardly playing. But you know, now you came in. Oh, he's a good player, isn't he? We saw it all. You wanted Dyer. Like now it hasn't worked. Now you want to spend 60 million in the that like last summer, for example, you want to spend 6 million on defender. Mate, I gave you your defenders. That's what Levy's thinking. We're not City, where if a player don't work, we just go buy another one. City can buy a centre back, it don't work. The next window, they'll just be like, all right, buy another one. At Tottenham, you're expected to get a tune out of that defence and those players that you wanted. So they got contracts, not to sell. So anyone give me, because they don't want to go on a free. That's not why we gave it to them. He wanted them. Toby's the only one where it's a bit of an anomaly. But, he was fighting for Jose and stuff. But Dyer, he wanted him to be his centre back. So, that is down to you as well.
Lee, let's come to you. I think that's an excellent point from Elena about Eric Dyer because, of course, Jose Mourinho has wanted to sign Eric Dyer at previous clubs. Looking forward to the cup final, for example, Joe Rodon is cup tied. He can't play in the cup final. What centre-back pairing do you think that Jose will choose for the cup final?
I think he'll go with Sanchez and Toby. Yeah. That's who I think he'll go with for the experience.
Toby's playing for him. Oh wow!
No, I do think he'll.
Because 2 days and your boss says you didn't turn up.
Well, a lot of that is just media stuff, though, isn't it? He'll probably be able to sort that out with Toby. Anyway, there must be something. I don't think there's. If I'm being honest, I don't think there's no truth in what he's saying. I don't think he just made it up off the top of his head. I think there must have been some bits and pieces around that led him to say something like that, because you don't just think up an excuse like that just like that. I know, because I make lots of excuses all the time. So, so there must have been an element of truth in that somewhere. So I'm sure they'll sort that out. But I think if you're going to play in a cup final, it will be his legacy, because he won't want to leave Tottenham without a trophy, because it'll be the first club he's been at without a trophy. And let's be honest, the man has an ego, right? So he's going to want it to be about him. They haven't won a trophy for X amount of years. I've come in, I've won them a trophy, end of story, and he'll be able to walk away or whatever with his head held high, walk into another job somewhere else. So I think he'll put all his pride and all that behind him, and he'll pick whoever he thinks is the best to get him a result in that game, because as you said earlier, Elena, it's a one-off. It's a one-off game, so anything can happen. And if anyone can win a final, you've got to think it could be Jose. He's had plenty of them. So, for me, I think he goes with Sanchez because of his pace and all the rest of it. And I think he goes with Toby because of his experience. But that's just a personal view. I'm not particularly good at predicting lineups, if I'm being honest.
Before we get into the top four push and the Manchester United preview, I just wanted to ask all of your opinion about Dele Alli. Of course, he stayed at the club. Pochettino wanted him at PSG. If Jose Mourinho stays at Tottenham for next season, does Dele Alli have a future at Spurs? Lee, let's start with you.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a future there for him, to be honest with you. I'm a bit fed up with Dele. I love the kid. I think he's a brilliant footballer. And I'd be gutted to see him go somewhere else and turn it on and really come on his own. I think a league like the French league or something like that will suit him down to the ground, where he can do his flicks and his tricks and not be under any kind of pressure. So I think that Jose doesn't want him in the team purely for his work rate, for his effort and all that. So I don't see, if Jose is going to stay, I don't see a long-term future for Dele. And I think, we need the money. If we're going to spend money, we need the money. And as Elena said, he's probably our biggest asset outside of Sonny and Harry. So what choice have you got? He's not playing. He's unlikely to play. And the opportunities he's had, he's not come in and gone, here I am, I'm going to save you. He scored a great goal and all the rest of it, but you need more consistency than that. You need more work rate than that. You need more effort than that. You need some passion. You need some pride in yourself and doing it for the fans. And I just don't see that. I think he's fallen out of love with the club. I think he's fallen out of love with Jose, and that's it. Which is a shame, really, because he's an exceptional talent. And I'll be gutted to see him go to someone else in the Premier League and then really turn it on. If I'm being honest, but players come, players go. So take the money.
I disagree with a lot of that, Lee. Actually, I think that I'd be gutted to see Dele Alli leave. And I think that whenever he has come in, I think that he has done his best. I think he's had very limited minutes. And I think that he's had a very hard time under Jose. I really do. And but I
don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, Chris, that he's had a hard time under Jose. But when you get those opportunities, when you get those minutes, you've got to show something. You've got to show the manager. It's all well and good us sitting here as fans, but as the manager, he knows what he wants from him. You know, and there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about. You know, I mean, I manage people myself, right? So, you know, certain people have strengths in certain things and all the rest of it, and you know what you want from people. So for me, I really think it's about Dele showing Jose what he really, really wants, you know, and I don't think he has. I'm not saying he's been out and out poor, but I don't think he's shown enough. I don't think he's done enough to warrant it. I really don't.
Yeah, it's very mixed. Even in the comments here, it's very mixed about Dele Alli. Elena, how are you feeling about Dele Alli? Would you like to see him stay? Because I can't see that if Jose's at the club, Dele Alli would be at the club. I just can't see both of them working together.
Do you know what it is? I think it's Dele's position. Dele's he likes to float around the box. He likes to be almost a second to Kane, and that position works when you're playing a very high line because you're in the box a lot, so he can float in that area and actually like get some goals, feed off what comes off Kane. And vice versa. The way we're playing, regardless of if he's fallen out Mourinho or regardless of, you know, the actual situation, because I believe he has fallen out Mourinho and I feel like he hasn't got enough chances. But regardless of that, I feel like generally Dele is not, his positioning just doesn't fit into this team under Jose as well. Like, let's say they had the best relationship. The way we play doesn't suit a Dele Alli player because realistically, he's not that player that's going to track back, and he's not a striker. So he's sort of, you know, like I said, he likes to float around the box. He's almost second striker. That sort of works when you're playing a really high line and you're attacking the team, and you want Dele to be, you know, shoot outside the box when Kane is, you know, not really, he can't pass to him. Those sort of things. And Son and Kane work still in this team because, you know, they're wingers and strikers, whereas Dele is like a second one of that. He won't sacrifice another defensive-minded player almost that can do that for an attacker that won't do that job. Like Dele won't track back for 90 minutes, run off, and, you know, he won't do that job. So regardless of all of that, I think if Jose is our manager, he's got to go for his own good as well. And like Elias said, the money, we need the money. So for me, yeah, it does mean that Dele's just he's got to go. If Jose's manager. If Jose's manager, then he's got to go because he will flourish under an attacking manager. And that's not even me trying to say, you know, Jose's a defensive manager and stuff, but the way we play just doesn't suit the Dele Alli position. And I think a lot of teams don't suit that position now. It's quite hard to find that extra attacking space. But yeah, I think at the moment, a PSG will, because they've got so many attackers, it's fine. But for teams in the Prem, I don't think it really works anymore. Even Tuchel doesn't do that. Like, you know what I mean? At Chelsea, with all the attackers he has. So I just think his position is really hard. Someone said Dele to West Ham, and at the moment it does seem like it's got that all over it, doesn't it? And I actually hate that. That makes my skin crawl.
Well,
I didn't want Lingard, so I'm like, oh no.
Why not?
Because we have Dele Alli. That's what I want. That was my thought process. My thought process is, why am I gonna get Lingard when we have Dele? Now it looks like that's you know, already shown me up. I'm not having you go there now and be best bezies with him. I'm just not having it.
That's the difference, though, isn't it? Sorry, Chris. That's the difference, though. Lingard has gone to West Ham because he wants to play football and he's working his socks off. And he's turning it on, whereas Dele, given opportunity, has not shown that level for me. And Dele's a better footballer than Lingard.
I get that. His attitude stunk, and I do get that. I do think it worked. You know when he came in, Mourinho came in, put his arm around him. Are you Dele or Dele's brother? You know, when you're having those little jokes, it works. But yet the minute you start to turn on Dele, he's one of these typical new age players where it's like, you start telling me I'm rubbish, I'll show you rubbish. Like, do you know what I mean? He's one of the sort of typical like players kind of thing. So yeah, you know, he's got that attitude in him, and he's got that strain in him where you show me a little bit of negativity, I'm done. So I feel like that is the issue with Dele. That as well, Mourinho's just not the right manager to work with him on a management level, let alone the tactics level.
So, Elena, do you think he will go in the summer then?
If Jose's manager, I think he will.
Yeah. Paul, let's come to you. Super chat comment here. Dele Alli is done at Spurs. He's got to stop thinking that he get back to even the last 6 months under Poch was poor. Sell Dele Alli, Eric Dyer, Moussa Sissoko, and Serge Aurier. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but Dele, like you say, if Jose stays, I think Dele himself will probably question whether he wants to stay at the club or not, because every player wants to be playing, don't they? So when you're not playing every game, you're going to start thinking, well, I can get it elsewhere. And we all know that Poch loved him. So, you know, Poch might come in for him in the summer and off he goes, and he can really resurrect his career. And I wish him all the best. You know, if any team wants our players and, you know, it's best for business kind of thing, then they go with my gratitude, my support, and I do well. But end of the day, I want players to be at the club, wanting to play for the club, giving their all. And I want to see us back with a smile on our faces, the fans, you know, and talking about good things and not negative things like the performance, about the players trying, etc., etc. The rest, Sissoko, Aurier, yeah, do they really give much to the team consistently? Would the top other 6 clubs in the Premier League go and buy them? No. So if we can get any money for them, great. And then identify the players, hopefully now that they have looking at, and get them in, get them building. And yourself, what do you think, Chris? Do you think that the players that you've highlighted will be gone? Do you think they'll stay, or Dele, etc.?
Do you know, every time I have one of these conversations with, Spurs fans about players, I just think that this rebuild is absolutely huge. I don't think that we realise how big this is. The amount of players that just keep being bandied about saying, well, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him. I did a video with 3 other Spurs fans a week or so ago, and we done a keep or sell video. And most of the squad were gone. You know, we haven't even talked about Gareth Bale. You know, would you keep Gareth Bale? You know, I raised a number of concerns amongst the Tottenham fans saying that I wouldn't keep Gareth Bale for next season because I don't think he's done enough this season. You know, a number of people got upset about me saying that, but I think this rebuild is absolutely huge. And it's funny, Elena said earlier, Jose's not here for a rebuild. Well, I think he's got a huge rebuild to do. And we all want trophies. We're all expecting trophies. You know, because he is a master trophy winner, serial winner in trophies, won every trophy in the land. And, if he doesn't win this League Cup, I think that there is going to be, some huge question marks. I know the fans are very divided, and it really upsets me to see, a number of Tottenham Hotspur fans arguing amongst themselves.
Yeah,
we
definitely
all want the same thing. We all want glory. We all want trophies, but we all have different opinions. But this rebuild, Paul, your question, I just think is absolutely huge. It's going to be an incredibly busy summer for Daniel Levy, Jose if he's still there, or whoever is manager at Spurs.
But, you know what Jose did? Jose overestimated this team, which is what we all did. We all made the Champions League final. We thought Poch was the problem. I'm not saying this is a Jose problem. We all did it. I did it. I thought, okay, how is this team that bad? I didn't want Poch out, but I went to the Sheffield United game, and I couldn't deny that he had to go. And funnily enough, that was his last game. I mean, even though I was very upset the minute I heard, I still tweeted at the time he's probably got to go. And for me, it's like it's quite funny because we all sort of overestimated the team, and I think that's what Jose did. Jose came in, thought the manager was the problem. Look, on paper, he had Toby, Jan, he had players, Son, Kane. These players just made a Champions League final. So for me, it was like he thought, come in, I can get them a trophy. I could do what Poch couldn't do in 5 years. That was so easy. Look at that team on paper. And then he thought, that's the problem. Everyone's like, would he not know what he's coming into? He looked at that squad and thought, that's good enough. And we all did it. I'm not blaming Jose for doing that. We all did it. We all thought getting Jose finally going to get us over the line. I mean, we tweeted Poch taught us how to dare. Jose's going to teach us how to do. We all were saying that. Like we were, because we thought we had the players. So it's not his fault for doing that because we all did it. But then when he's come in and then he's seen, the rubbish, that's what he's come for, is to win something and not rebuild, because he didn't think we needed one. He thought, we can't win the league this season, but next season we can. That is literally a quote he said. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm not even like criticizing him at this point. I'm just saying that we all overestimated this team. So when people are saying he's here for a rebuild, he was never here for a rebuild because he didn't think we needed one. Neither did we. So when he first took the job, Levy just gave him a bit of talk, which, look, you've got Harry Kane. look, you've got Son, you've got Dele Alli, like, you know, you've got all these players. We'll get you a fullback. That's fine. But look, you've got Jan, you've got Toby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's saying these names, and you're thinking, they made a Champions League final. You know, maybe I can do it with this team. Yeah, I'll come 15 mil a season. You know, I'm all good. And I just think that he's realised how big the job is, and the job is not that he's not capable. He's not prepared to do that. He's not here for that. That's not his management style. Winning everything in the game. Now you're going to rebuild Tottenham Hotspur. It's not really his forte. So I just think that that's what happened.
I absolutely agree with that. I don't think he ever came in to be the rebuild manager. He came in to tweak the team with a couple of key positions, like the Højbjerg one and the right back with Doherty. You know, when they brought those in, you was thinking, okay, they're going to the right positions where we felt we needed strengthening and all the rest of it. And like you said, you know, you don't forget you've got Lucas Moura in there who he wanted to sign as well. You've got Dyer who he wanted to sign, Dele Alli, who he was a great admirer of, Harry Kane, best striker in the world, you know, Heung-min Son. You know, on paper, we have a fantastic squad. The unfortunate thing is we're not playing on paper. We're playing on grass, and they ain't got the passion that we want from them to do the job. So, you know, I think there is a massive rebuild. There's so many players in there that are not to the level of Harry Kane. If you want to be the team that wins the league, you've got to match the level of Harry Kane in all your positions. If you're going to do what something like Man City have done, or Chelsea in the past, or whatever. I mean, even Liverpool to a certain extent. I know they're going through a bit of a rough period, right? But they went out, they sorted out their key places that they needed players. They went on, and we know all about all of that, right? So I absolutely think that, you know, there's so many players that we've got that are below that standard. Might be all right for squad players. But he was brought in with this fantastic squad to tweak it and mess about with it, not to rebuild it. But it needs an absolute rebuild all the way through. You know, Sissoko on 30 million, you know, 30 million for Sissoko, who had terrible time. You know, okay, he had had a decent season and that at one point at Wembley and that. And I was there when I've seen him score a goal. So, you know, I mean, I can say that. But, you know, really, did we ever really think that Sissoko was the player that we really needed? You know,
he can run. He's a runner, but he's not a footballer.
But he's a big voice in the dressing room. You know, do you really want Sissoko as a big voice in your dressing room? Really?
That's the problem. You know? Yeah, exactly. This is a problem. I mean, Jose did say that in the doc, you know, when he said, you know, they all like him. I'm not going to repeat the words he said, but, you know, he said it. And, like, I just feel like, it's to me, he just overestimated it. And I'm not blaming him for doing that before I get pelters. How can you expect him not to? I did it too. So, I get that. It papered over the cracks, that Champions League final. We know. But I think that this final's doing that too. Sorry.
Lee, let's stay with you. Will Stewart, you know, basically said that what I was talking about here. Are we as a club at a crossroads? Could this be the most important summer in recent history? Because surely it's going to be a busy one, isn't it?
For me, I think Will's absolutely right. I think this is a massive crossroads to decide what are they going to do? Which way do they want to go? You know, because we can't carry on like this. You know, they've got everything they want now. They've got a world-class stadium, world-class facilities. You know, they've got the opportunity to make so much money out of that building. You know, in itself. You know, but to sustain that and to be able to build the brand and make the club worth, you know, more and more and more, you've got to be up there winning trophies. It's all well and good being in the Champions League, and that brings loads and loads of money. I get that. But that's not going to build your brand, you know, being in it. I mean, we saw it. How many years were Arsenal in it? 20 odd years, you know, of just being in the Champions League. What do you call it? It's done nothing for them in terms of their standing in football, you know.
But would you rather take the FA Cup and be where they are now? I just playing devil's advocate. Would you rather have won the FA Cup last season and then be now? Because that's what could happen.
In fairness, though, Eleanor, it's not just one FA Cup, is it? They've won trophy
No,
after
I
trophy.
just mean now.
Yeah.
Like, let's say we had their season,
Yeah.
you know, that FA Cup doesn't change much in the grand scheme.
But it's frustrating, isn't it, the fact that we finished above them in the league, but yet they seem to, you know, just get these FA Cups out of nowhere.
Win trophies.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but yeah.
And bear in mind, they've got. If you wouldn't swap their squad with our squad, would you?
No.
I don't think any of us would.
No.
There's their players that I would go, oh, I really want that player in my team or whatever, you know? Maybe an odd one here. But my point is this, me personally, would I swap for an FA Cup? Absolutely. I'd take an FA Cup and be 10th. I know that sounds stupid, but I would.
No.
You know, for me, as a fan of 40-odd years, I don't care about the Champions League. The club care about the Champions League because it brings in the money. I don't care about the Champions League. I only want to be in the Champions League if we're going to win it. I don't care if we're really...
care about that. Players care about that.
Players
Harry
care,
Kane wants to play in the top flight European football. If we
of course
finish
he does.
10th,
Of course he
that's
does.
enough. Finishing 10th and winning FA Cup is not enough to keep someone like Kane, Son. Then you just start dropping off. You just turn into... There's a difference winning. There's a difference staying winning. And I think that's they're two different things. And that's what we've done now. We've got someone to win, but not to stay winning. Stay winning is a whole different ball game. And I think that's what we were trying to build.
I know what you mean, though, Lee. I'm very old school. I love the trophies. I love to compete for the FA Cup and the League Cup. But, of course, as a club and, you know, for money and to bring new players in, it is highly important that we do get those top 4 finishes and compete in the Champions League for the future. We're just going to do these couple of super chats and then we'll preview the Manchester United game. So we're not going to run on for too much longer. AJ's 1988. Eleanor, I know your opinion on this, so I'm going to go to Paul on this one. Look at Jose Mourinho at Man United, second time at Chelsea, riffs, throwing players under the bus, same coach, different players. How can Jose Mourinho how can he get the players back on board, Paul?
Well, an arm round him for a start and actually try a different approach. He said, obviously, when he was out of the game that he realised and his errors previously. Well, let's start seeing it then. Let's see you start actually managing and being a bit more better, you know, with these players. Because like you said, you know, on paper, they look world class. We should be challenging on, you know, the first 11 you see on a regular basis. The team should be challenging for things. But I always think it's all right identifying these players, etc., moving forward. They've got the right mentality in the first place. You know, I look at Stephen Bergwijn. We play him right, you know, like a right wing back. He's an attacking winger. Play players in their best positions where they were brought in the first place, and then progress. But we're just playing players out of position, etc., etc. You know, I think play players to their strengths, and then we can concentrate on the weaknesses moving forward. But you know, yourself, do you think about Bergwijn? Do you think he should be starting more up towards top and not at the back? Because that's what he's identified to come in for his pace and his skill and his shooting ability, wasn't he? Not being a defender or a full, you know, right back or right wing back, etc. I'm just highlighting him as an example. But
yeah. Eleanor, stop apologising for your passion. We love your passion.
Definitely.
Let's, Eleanor, you perhaps answer this one. Getting 2 centre halves, Anderson and Vestergaard, get a quality right back, another DM. We could focus on the defence in the summer. Very important. Surely that is what Jose Mourinho has to do.
100%. But do you think we're going to get all that in one window? Have you forgotten who our owners are? Like, this is what I'm saying. It's going to be a few windows we're going to be rebuilding. We need to just accept that now and realise that that is our ownership. As much as I don't enjoy it, that is our ownership. That's how it works. I can sit here and scream and shout till the cows come home, but they're not going to go and buy 7 or 8 players, even though they did now. But a lot of loans and COVID window sort of, you know, it helped them. But like now that, you know, we're not going to go and buy all that. So for me, yeah, that's great. If Jose can get Daniel, the one thing I said when he came in, Jose will get Daniel Levy to spend. That's the only good thing of him coming in. And if he can get him to spend all that, brilliant. But he hasn't managed to make him spend that much money. So I don't think that's going to happen in one window. That's what we need, but we're going to need that over 2 or 3 windows, especially no fans in that stadium has really hit us without, not that I don't think they have the money, just our transfer budget, because we spend what we get in. We're run by an investment company, like I said. Whatever we get in, we spend. We haven't got much in. So at the end of the day, we're not going to spend all that in one window. That's great. That's what we need. but I don't think it's going to happen so quick as much as I'd love it to. Daniel Levy proved me wrong, because anyone gets all the perfect team. You know, it's almost like we can't judge a manager until he's in a perfect situation. Given the perfect team, I'm pretty sure he will succeed. But, you know, it's not going to happen in one window. And I think we need to start, you know, just shipping out the players in a way that Poch did when he first came in, and, you know, play the youngsters, stop playing these, you know, make a statement and start the rebuild. Because unfortunately, it's how we're run. But I'd love it.
Eleanor, another follow-up point here from AJ's 1988. Trophies or not, we pay our money to watch a team try and entertain at least. No point having a £1 billion stadium if you play Poundland football.
100%. I watch football to not be bored. I watch football because I enjoy football. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? At the end of the day, it's a sport. I don't want to see my team scared. One of my big problems is we go to a team to not lose. We don't go to win. We try to prevent the loss. That's a big problem for me. If you're going to a team to try not to lose rather than go to a team to win, they're two different things for me, and that's what I don't like, is the way we play. We play scared of everyone. Why are we scared of Newcastle? Why am I scared of Brighton away? Like, why am I scared of these teams? I support Tottenham. We're Tottenham. We're coming at you no matter who you are. That's the way I see it. Obviously, I get you can't do it against City, okay, but we didn't do it against Newcastle. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, so for me, it's like, for me, yeah, I just think I enjoy good football. I support Tottenham for a reason. Yeah, we don't see the trophies. So what are we supporting Tottenham for? We like the good football. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? And like, at the end of the day, it's a sport. I just feel like like I say, I don't want to be scared of every opposition. I don't want to be scared of a loss. I want to try to get the 3 points, not get a point, not at least a point. I want to get the 3 points. I want to go get the 3 points, not, oh, well, we got a point because we were too scared to attack. No, it's not okay.
We proved that against Man United away, though, didn't we? When we hit them for 6, we proved it. We proved that when we're on the front foot and we attack, we can score goals, because we did it away at United early on in the season and Southampton. When we get to these
teams, my worry with that is Kane and Son were just ridiculously clinical. That's not going to happen.
That's a perfect point to bring on the Manchester United preview. Thanks for that, Paul. That is probably my highlight of this season. Beating Manchester United 6-1 away at Old Trafford. Absolutely superb. And as you rightly said, Eleanor, clinical finishing from Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. They were on fire that day at Old Trafford. Simply superb. Now, Tottenham are currently 6th in the Premier League. We've played 30, which means we have 8 Premier League games left. We've won 14, drawn 7, lost 9, have 49 points. We're now 3 points behind West Ham United in 4th place. Top 4 place. That is what we want. Of course, Manchester United are 2nd. They've played 30. They've won 17. They've drawn 9. They've lost 4. They've got 60 points. Now, Spurs, with William Hill at the moment, are 4-1 to finish in the top 4. And Jose Mourinho is 6-1 to be the next manager to leave in the Premier League. We have 8 Premier League games left. Manchester United, Southampton, Sheffield United, Wolves, Aston Villa at home. And then the 3 away games, Everton, Leeds and Leicester. At home so far this season, of course, we're playing Manchester United on Sunday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We've won 7 games at home so far this season, drawn 3 and lost 4. Lee, let's start with you. Manchester United at home in the Premier League on Sunday. How do you see this one going? Can Tottenham get the 3 points?
Of course we can get the 3 points. Of course we can. Will we? It's like trying to predict. It's like trying to predict my wife's mood. It's just you just don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen, do you? With Tottenham. Let's be honest. I don't know. I would hope that they come out there and they want to put a performance in, especially after a crap draw against Newcastle. I hope they've had a bit of a rollicking and think that they're going to, do something right. They've got such a great opportunity to get us into the Champions League, the league they all want to play in, because they're all good enough. Well, if they're good enough, show you're good enough, get out there and win the 3 points. This ain't the Man United of old. This is the Man United of now, who are only in 2nd position because everybody else don't want to be in anywhere near it. Everybody's dropping points left, right and centre. It's a crazy league this year. So, yes, of course I think we can win. Do I know if they're going to win? I'm not confident. I've got to be honest. I want to be. but I'm not because exactly because of the Newcastle game and the games before it that we've dropped points. So, like I say, trying to predict it is near on impossible at the moment. You just don't know who's going to turn up. But they've got to start kicking on at some point. And this weekend is a perfect time to do it.
Do you know, Lee, let's go to this super chat here from Neo1972. And what a moment that was when we beat Liverpool 4-1 at Wembley Stadium in the Premier League. We were only a few players short of a great team. We were miles ahead of them. They spent the money. And now look what happened. Of course, they went on to win the Premier League and the Champions League. Now, at that point, that is a very valid and great point, because at that point of time, we were ahead of Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was saying earlier, targeted, spending of the right money on the right players at the right time, and who knows where we could have been, at that point, and it's just, we just tend to go for, we buy this player for the future because he's going to get there. And if he don't get there, we'll get a lot more money for him and that sort of stuff. Like you say, investment company mentality, that kind of stuff, not for the here and now, the winning of the trophies now. And that's the problem. That's always been our problem. Ever since Enid took over, it's the past. We got to go, well, that's the past. It happened. Where do we go from here? It's about where we are now that we need to focus on, in my opinion.
Paul, let's come to you. Manchester United in the Premier League on Sunday. How do you see the game going?
Well, it's no excuses, will there, Chris? Because obviously we're not in the European, competition anymore. So they've got a whole week to recover from the last game against Newcastle, recharge the batteries, show determination and passion. Would I like to say we'll win? Previously, yes. Now, who, like Lee said, just don't know what team you're going to get turning up on the day. I just want to see him showing a bit more fight and a bit more, aggression in the play, chasing the ball, being aggressive, shooting and chasing and running and scoring. And hopefully we win 2-1, but we need to win. We got to beat United to have any chance of the top four. Like you say, we keep given these gifts. We don't capitalise on it. We need to start showing a bit more fight now. There's no excuses. It's all or nothing. League Cup, League. Let's go. Come on, let's see where we can get to at the end of the season. But
do you know what? Roy Price on the screen now writes an excellent point. If we beat Manchester United and Everton, then top four is back on. And of course, if Jose can get us over that line in that cup final, then Eleanor, what are you going to be moaning about?
I'm moaning about? No, like I said, we still need the rebuild. We still need the rebuild. I don't think he's the manager for that. But I'll be very happy to see it happen. Of course, that's all I want. That's all I want. If I start seeing, some positivity for the future, for the future with him in it, then I'm fine. Like, I want him to prove me wrong. Like, I'm sitting there, like, every game, I'm like begging, come on, Jose, just play it, just do it, just do, play a high line, see what happens. Like even if it's not a high line, but sometimes I just think that's the solution. I'm not saying it is. I'm not paying 15 mil a season for that, but I'm just saying, like, generally, I'm just like, Jose, prove me wrong. So if he proves me wrong, I'll happily do that. Like, that's fine. But for me, it's like, do you see us being on a 3-game run? Like, that's Man U, Everton, and City. That's a really hard run. I can't say like I see us winning every game, but for United, they're so inconsistent as well. They play very counter-attacking football, and it will. We don't really lose by a lot of goals. I think our highest really was like 3-1 against Liverpool. Like, we don't really get hammered because we are tight, even though we don't think we are. We don't get a high scoreline against us. So I think at the moment, I do see us winning it. It just depends on the way we come out. It does depend on our attitude rather than them, because I do think we've got the quality to win that game. I genuinely do. I think if we come at them and actually like attack and be a bit clinical like we were last time, why can't we? But it just depends on how we come out. If we're going to see a reaction from these players, are we going to see forget the manager? Like, I would say to them, if I was there, like, forget Jose. Do it for the club and you. Do it for you. Like, show some fight, because you can't just show all those poor performances and then not show anything. So I would like to see a reaction. If they care, there will be a reaction, and I think we can get the job done. I'm going to say 2-1, like you, because I don't think it will be like us hammering them or anything anymore. But I do think we'll get the win, depending on the way we come out. If we come out and we look down and out from minute one, just low block, 11 players behind the ball, like I think we'll probably lose like 2-0 or 1-0 or something. But just to see some sort of consistency, some sort of attacking play. Hopefully, we see a consistent back four and we just push on. And then I do agree with the inconsistency of that comment as well. We are a bit inconsistent, but hopefully everyone else is too. No one wants top four. Everyone's like, no, you have it. No, you have it. Everyone else is just as inconsistent. So hopefully we can capitalise on that.
Elena, who do you think Jose Mourinho put in the starting 11? Because, of course, Davinson Sanchez at the back on Sunday against Manchester United. Will Gareth Bale start? Will Steven Bergwijn play? Will Toby Alderweireld come back into the team? There's lots of question marks. Trying to predict a Jose Mourinho starting 11 this season is hard work.
It's insane. I used to sort of, under Poch, even in game, I kind of could tell how the game was going to go. Like, I'd be at a game and we'll be 1-0 down. And I'll be like, oh, we're gonna get a late goal, or we'll be 1-1. I'll be like, we're gonna get a late winner. Like, I could just feel the way we play, or we came out and I'll be like, you know what, we're losing this game. Like, I could tell the way we play. Now you literally know nothing. It's like we can't predict anything. I don't know what's going on in game, because it just seems so mad. 1 minute we're full out attack, next minute we look like we can't touch the ball in the same game. Like, I don't know what is going on, so I can't predict anything. But for me, I think it will be Bergwijn maybe for that tracking back, that defensive right winger that he's not supposed to be, but he likes to be. So yeah, maybe he might play Bergwijn. I think Sanchez at the back, it's hard. I would rather see Toby. Like I said, I'd rather see Toby and Rodon. So for me, that's what I would choose. But would he do it? I don't know. A player he's never liked, by the way. He keeps picking. He said Sanchez was the reason why he won the Europa when he had United. He told the United players to, attack Sanchez. So it's like, we all know that he doesn't like him yet. It's weird that he keeps playing him. But maybe just, he's got pace. So for me, he probably will stick with the same back four, unless he, like we've said, he's trying to get a different four for the final. So he might get some cohesion with Toby, but depends if Toby wants to play. I don't know, but yeah, for me, I picked Toby and Rondon. Hopefully he does as well.
Lee, let's come to you. Of course, Manchester United are in Europa League action against Granada tonight. Now, of course, that will be, an advantage to Tottenham. That Man United are playing away in the Europa League. They've got to come back to England and then play this game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday. Surely, any advantage for us at the moment, we need to welcome with open arms.
No, yeah, absolutely. I do wonder when they say, you're away, all this way in some place, how difficult it is when you're travelling in a first-class jet with, being pampered. I mean, I know when I go to Cyprus, I'm absolutely knackered by the time I get there, but then I'm stuck in this ropey little plane, But if you're laying there in first class and all, is it much of a drain on you, chauffeured from your house to the airport and straight through and all that? I don't know, but I mean, if it does give us an advantage, I'll take it. Yeah, absolutely.
Lee, what score prediction are you going with?
I think they'll score, because obviously they'll get their penalty. So I'm gonna go for 3-1.
3-1 Spurs.
3 whole goals. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Elena, you're going 2-1 Spurs, are you?
Yeah, 2-1, yeah.
Yeah, Paul, what are you going for?
I'll say 2-1 as well, Chris. I think they will score, but hopefully Sonny and Kane can maybe
I agree with the penalty comment as well.
Yeah. It's just going to be, what will it be? A handball or a silly foul? Like Dyer did last year, kind of thing, where he brings him down stupidly.
30 seconds.
Wow.
Insane.
Well, I'm gonna break all that out. I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw.
Ooh.
I know a lot of people will be very surprised that I'm not going to go for a Tottenham win, but whenever I say about Tottenham winning, people always say, oh, you always go for a Tottenham win. And I think that with our inconsistency, like we've spoken about all night, I think is a 1-1, and Henry here completely agrees. I'm going to go for a 1-1. Yeah.
I think you're being realistic. I think I'm just in a dream world a bit. I think Lee more than me, but
yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Lee, thank you so much for joining me. Tell everyone where they can find you on YouTube.
I'm under Lee the Dorset Spur. You can come and find and see an old man sitting in his car moaning most weeks.
Thank you very much, Lee. Paul, thank you very much as always.
Pleasure as always, Chris. Thanks for having me on the show, and hope to see you soon, matey. As I say, beer on the way with me next. Let's get to that stadium, mate. I'm buying you, a couple of beers.
I can't wait to get back in that stadium. I really can't. It's been so long. It feels so long. It really does.
It does.
Elena, thank you so much for joining me yet again, and tell everyone where they can find you.
So on Twitter, if you want to see a lot of these takes, you can find me at lilywhite_TV. Chris follows me. He knows what I'm tweeting about. It's never a dull moment on my account. On YouTube, I'm Lily White TV. I've also just started a podcast with my dad, actually, and it is just me and him moaning about the club most of the time. We did our first episode. It's quite nice. It's called "It's Your Fault I Support Tottenham," and it is. So I blame him every day. So yeah, that's just started, and I host a Tottenham Hour on the Football Terrace, which Chris has been on. So thanks, and yes, I can't wait to be back in the ground. Me and my dad normally walk there on the weekends because I'm so near. We just walk there, and it's our weekend thing, and we haven't done it in so long. So I can't wait to get back and actually show some passion for this club again.
Exactly. Lee, Paul, Eleanor, thank you so much, and let's hope that Tottenham can get us the 3 points on Sunday, and we're all smiling yet again for another week at least. Anyway, thank you very much, and come on.
Take care, guys. Come on, you Spurs.
Up the Spurs.
Come on, you